That fella over there is the Hall of Famer Jack Benedict. And
hello, Todd.
Hello, Jack. As we bring you a little high school, or rather college basketball action tonight. The IUP Crimson Hawks on the floor against Cal U, and it is the Atlantic Regional Championship at the KCAC. Jack, you had quite a weekend there, didn't you?
Oh, it's been exciting. By the way, I just wanted to stretch when I got up this morning. Said it's a regional championship game day.
Game day.
Yes, it's been exciting, no question about it. We've seen some great athletes, some great games. The games the other day, the semifinals, total of 5 points separating the two crowds up around 2,000, 2,200 to one. No students here. That's pretty good representation,
IUP up by 14 in the second half against Mercyhurst, but just listening to it from home, I could tell that nobody was really comfortable about that lead, even at 14.
We were squirming a little bit. Yeah. Yes, we were. In fact, the Cal games, IUP's had to come back in the first two in the second half, where they've been really strong and won. And then the third game was in the 60s, was 70 to 64, I think was the final. Mm-hmm. And they did have a little bit of a lead in the first half there, but it's been that way. It's like, well, they're down by 14, but they're not out of it. Well, they're up by 14, but they haven't put it away.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of year.
Yeah, and the interesting thing to me about it is you can look at that IUP's record against Cal this year. 3 wins in a row. No problem with Cal, but they've all been games that have been in doubt. And it really does come down to, who's going to get hot at what time and who's going to put together the best game.
I would like to see, and we all, as IUP fans, would like to see the team shoot a little better from the field, and especially, from three-point territory. But guys are showing up. Armandi's really struggling as of late with his shot, with injuries, nagging injuries, and guys step up. Here's Dallas Dillard, an offensive player a year ago in high school, and here he is in a semifinal game, and he pulls down 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. This is a young team, but they're 31-2, and there are only 2 other teams, that have 30 wins or more.
It's amazing to me that they did what they did, that they turned around so quickly after Shondale went down. And, you're tempted to look at that team and say, boy, if only Shondale had not gone down.
Yeah, but how many more wins could you have?
It's true.
You had lost 2 games.
Yeah. It's just been an amazing run for IUP. You, of course, have the long history of watching IUP play playoff basketball in regionals, in conference games, and Cal U's been a big part of that, especially in regionals. Huh?
Yes, the mid-'90s, 94, 95, 96, and IUP won 2 of those. Cal won 1. And you think back, well, let's see, that's Gary Edwards and Jim Boone. And, of course, prior to that was Kurt Kanaski
and Jim Boone.
Kurt Kanaski and Jim Boone, and then we had Gary Edwards and Bill Brown. Yeah. And Coach Lombardi just passed Bill Brown on the all-time coaches winning list. And now, we have Danny Sandcombe, who's come up. He's in his 4th year at Cal. He's a Hall of Famer at Wheeling. He was a coach there for 11 years, and they fired him. And so he got himself a couple of players here and there. This kid, Philip Alston, is a sophomore.
He's good.
He's very good. I thought either he or Armandi would get Regional Player of the Year. They gave it to the Latrobe kid. That's fine. Mm-hmm. He deserves it, Butler. But Alston was a backup last year. He was off the bench. This year, he has scored 642 points.
Yeah.
And he's a double-double man. And it's going to be, it just shows the strength of not only the conference but the division. Mm-hmm. And Cal was a 4th team, and here they are.
Yeah. It's just going to be so much fun for me. I'll get to hear the end of the game as I'm driving home from mine, because my game won't be nearly as long as yours.
Well, let's hope it's a good one. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a rout, but that's okay.
Yeah, as long as it's the right team getting the rout.
Yes, but it's been great for everybody in the community and for the university, and there's a lot of buzz about it. And in fact, I'm going to be on believe it or not, Bill DeFabio's wheeling station here in this afternoon.
Bill DeFabio.
He called me a few days ago when he thought well, if it comes to West Liberty, I'll come up and see you. Well, it didn't happen, fortunately.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it really has been exciting. And I think this region is by far the best in the country. I was looking at all the other regions.
Yeah. And it shows the strength of the PSAC. I know that folks have been talking about that. Look at all the PSAC teams and how strong they are. Mm-hmm. And it really is true that, you play a different brand of basketball in this conference than you do in another conference. Down in West Virginia, they're freewheeling offensive styles. I don't know what it is down there in North Carolina where Fayetteville State came from. But bottom line was, in this conference where defense is such a calling card, that's real. Mm-hmm. That's what wins you championships. And IUP, yes, they're able to do it.
Yes, exactly. No question. And not only is the West, or has the West been really good, but the PSAC East, Millersville is back where they weren't a few years ago. They're back, and of course they were in the playoffs. East Stroudsburg is always good. They press from beginning to end. Shippensburg, look what Chris Feit has done.
Sure.
It's great. It's really great basketball.
Tell me about fans at the KCAC. It sounds like they are really having a lot of fun watching this basketball, and to see the way that they embrace the team. As you mentioned, the students aren't on campus right now. It's spring break, but It doesn't look like they're breaking stride at all. Fans are showing up and watching this and having a great time.
Well, they should. When you think about the product that IUP has put on the court, it's just amazing. For over the years, the 16 years that Lombardi's been here, mm-hmm. previously Edwards for 10, Kanaski with 8. There were maybe a lapse here or there along, but we're looking. No question about it. The fans, we are spoiled, but that's okay because there are quite a few Pittsburgh-based teams, Division I, mm-hmm. and I was reading this morning, and they've all lost 20 games or more.
Yeah.
Now, it's just, but the fans have been tremendous.
Yeah.
They get into it. Our buddy Don Lancaster, who sits where I normally am, behind me. Mm-hmm. Well, he's on the opposite side from me now. So he fills in for Jack Reefer, bless his soul, with his big IUP. And the fans on the other side of the court are responding to him.
They're answering.
Yeah. So it's been tremendous.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And I was thinking the other day, what if this team had been playing at the Memorial Fieldhouse, as good a venue as it was for its time? I don't think that IUP is able to recruit the quality of ball player that it does at the KCAC, but this arena is so built for this kind of an event.
It is. It's been labeled several times. We've seen national reports where it's one of the top 5 venues in Division II. Mm-hmm. And it has that atmosphere that you need and the closeness of the fans and everything. Couldn't be. But the Memorial Fieldhouse, a couple of guys, Josh Shoup and Mark Foe, were at the last game. Yeah. They're from the 90s. They were talking about the Fieldhouse. Mm-hmm. Jeff Brown has been here quite a bit. Darrell Webb, I've seen Darrell Webb at least 3 times with his family this year. You're talking about eras,
Yeah.
From way back. And then, you brought up, you said when you come in, bring in so-and-so, all these former coaches. But Lombardi's won 2 championships. Edwards won 2 in the region, and Kanaski won 2. So it's split up there, 2-2-2.
It's interesting, the number of coaches, because you've been here since 1940.
Not quite, but
doing IUP basketball, the number of coaches you've worked with, and they all have their own styles. They all have their own personalities. But you think of the number of guys that you've worked with, and we've mentioned Joe, and of course Kirk Kanaski and Gary Edwards, and before that Carl Davis.
Yeah, Tom, Tom Beck and Carl Davis, mm-hmm. and my first coach for 1 year, and then he said, I had enough of the Benedict guy, so I'm going into athletics. Was Herm Sledzik. Herm, who is 90 years young. Mm-hmm. He's the oldest living Penn State basketball player.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what a great guy.
played with Jesse Arnell, and he stays in contact with the program. But, the first 4 years I was doing games from 69 to 73, 74, in there 4 or 5 years, we went to the national NAIA tournament with Carl Davis and the guys.
Yeah.
And that tournament was 16 teams, 8 games the first day, 8 games the second day. Amazing, just.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm so fortunate that been around good people. That's the best thing.
Just a minute left with Jack Benedict here this morning. Getting you set for tonight's ball game at the KCAC IUP taking on Cal. When you think of the last 2 teams that made it to the Elite Eight for Coach Joe, was that 2010 and 2015?
Yes.
Yeah. And you think of the players that were members of those teams, and then this team here, you don't compare teams because it's different eras and it's different ball players and it's different styles of basketball,
Yes.
but there have been some really, really high-quality ball players.
Those are some of the best ever, no question. In fact, I mentioned to Josh Shoup the other day, I said, we had the alumni game a few years ago, and I was doing PA, and there was nothing like seeing Bert Masenko against Darrell Webb. Oh. And believe me, it was more than an alumni game. They were going at it. So
Bert's a big boy.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Is he ever? He is a big, strong dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, come on out, folks. I don't have to tell you that. And you can't beat the price, and have fun.
IUP Crimson Hawk basketball tonight at the KCAC. Last chance to see this team on this court is tonight.
That's right. We've been in Evansville twice, and I'd like to go back. So we'll see. We'll see how that happens.
Let's send Jack packing. That's the motto for tonight.
Hey, good luck to the high school teams tonight, too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jack. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.